Hey everyone, welcome. This is How We Innovate at Arizona State University. My name is Brent Siebold. I am joined by one of my dear friends and colleagues. Dr. Kurt Patterson is here on the How We Innovate stage at the Polytechnic campus, representing the Polytechnic School of the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering. Kurt, so great to have you.
Good to be here.
Well, it better be good to be here because we've got canned goods in the house. One of our students here at Arizona State University, Easton Dana, has joined us as well. But before we get to Easton, he's got this great story about how he started an amazing company as a student entrepreneur with an intense entrepreneurial mindset, really great drive and passion behind all the work that he's been doing over the last couple of years. Kurt, could you share with our audience what's up with you? What's your background and how'd you end up here on the stage with us today?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm the director of the Polytechnic School at Arizona State University. And the reason that was such an important opportunity for me is this seriousness of purpose around authentic experiences for our students. I'm also a leader in a national initiative that brings together engineering schools around the entrepreneurial mindset. So what is it we can do on our campuses to create opportunities for our students to be innovative, entrepreneurial, not only in their thinking, but in their actions. So it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Easton, it's great to meet you.
And it's great to be here too.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get started. As we do on this podcast, on this video series, is bring in people that are doing the hard work of creating change within the world and leveraging their entrepreneurial mindset to take a problem, find a solution, and make people's lives better. So, Easton, you've done a couple of entrepreneurial things as a very young innovator. Typically, we have a lot of, pardon the people that might be watching, but a lot of older, well-accomplished adults that have been doing this over decades. But Easton, we were blown away by you, how much you've accomplished just in the last few years as somebody who's seen an opportunity, wanted to create value, and you just went out and did it. So your current company is called Canned Goods, and you have a focus on reducing plastics all around the world. And so if you could just back up a few years in time and tell us how you got excited about this opportunity and then how you've executed just recently.
Yeah, I started Canned Goods when I was tired of receiving everything from apparel, shirts, Amazon packages, all packaged in plastic packaging. Not only is it not really fun to open, it's a pain, but it also contributes to the ongoing problem of microplastics within our environment. So I started what is now Canned Goods as a company to prove that apparel, and more specifically packaging, is something more than plastic that should just be opened and thrown away. All of our shirts actually come inside recyclable aluminum soup cans. You pop them open just like soda cans. They all have custom and unique labels on the outside of the soup can that matches the design of the shirt inside. They have fun, unique nutrition facts on them. They're super collectible, and for every can sold, we donate to remove a pound of plastic from our oceans and rivers. We're also really big on how to reuse the cans, whether it be putting pens, pencils in the can, using it as a desk trash can, or planting wildflowers in it. In fact, every can comes with free wildflower seeds inside the can. So after you pop open your shirt, put it on, you can plant flowers in the can. We've grown really big on Instagram and TikTok over the last year and built a great community around the idea of reusable, non-plastic-based packaging.
I'm blown away. I don't know about you, Kurt, but I'm going to go log on to the internet after this show, and I'm going to go to Canned Goods. Is it canngoods.com?
Canngoodsclothing.com. We're trying to get canngoods.com, but it's been some tough negotiations with the owner of that domain.
Yeah, I've seen the website. I haven't yet made an order, but meeting you here today, it's definitely, it sounds compelling. I'm excited about adding to my wardrobe with some canned goods. Sounds super cool.
It does sound cool. I'm curious about the spark. What were you seeing in the world that you came up with Canned Goods? Was it a thought about the packaging issues of the world, or was it something about, in your case, you mentioned plastics. Do you remember where you were at, or what was the aha moment where there was a need there that you could create a solution that just didn't exist?
It was really a blend of all of those. When I was in high school, I helped my buddy run his own apparel brand, and that's how much I saw how much plastic is used in the just as something as simple as graphic T-shirts. How much plastic is used in that side of the fashion industry. Ships get shipped to you in plastic. You got to open all the plastic, throw it away, individually wrap each shirt in your own branded plastic, ship it out in plastic mailers. And as somebody who loves their environment, fishing, snowboarding, hiking, not only do I just not like the idea of litter and plastic that can't biodegrade after millions of years, but I also hate the idea of ingesting microplastics. You know, all humans today now have microplastics within their bodies because it's in what we eat. But on the other side of that, in high school, I was super interested in the idea of branding and products, specifically within the sneaker industry. I used to buy and sell sneakers, and I saw how important the packaging is for, in my case, sneakers. People would open up their shoes and then keep the Nike box up in their room, put it on shelves, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So towards the end of high school, I really wanted to go out on my own and start my own brand, and really hone in on this idea of something that's not only sustainable and non-plastic based, but with packaging that's collectible, unique, and more specifically, as the internet and social media has really grown on my generation, Gen Z, a generation who not only shares a love for sustainability and a hate for plastic, but a social media like TikTok that feeds on virality. So I knew I had to make this brand viral and build a viral product. And I don't exactly remember where I thought of the idea. I just remember thinking, if we can put simple stuff like soup and food inside these cans, why can't we put shirts in the can? And that's when I started what is now Canned Goods. Shirts in a can, fun, unique, viral packaging that's also sustainable and gives back to our environment and community.
Well, you've been successful since that hazy, fuzzy aha moment. Give us a sense of your growth just over the last year, if not last year and a half or even 2 years. That's one question. And then I'm really curious, as we sit here today, where do you see yourself going? Because you're a current student at ASU.
Yeah.
Business is booming, as I think we'll hear. What's next for Canned Goods?
Yeah, well, you say over the last year or 2 years, but really 99% of our growth and success has come within the last 5 months. I've been kind of thrown into this world since April and May. Wow. I'll start by saying how I achieved that growth and what changed from the past 2 years of running the company to the past 5 months. So before this past April, May time, I really wasn't making any money with the company. I wasn't donating that much to remove pounds of plastic. There wasn't a lot of growth. We didn't have any followers. Nobody knew about Canned Goods. And I've been trying to get the name out there for so long, especially going into university when I had a good website out and I was trying to do pop-up events around the school. But nobody seemed to have heard of the brand. And I thought a big part of this was, I just don't have any funding for marketing. Once I put money behind Facebook ads and Instagram ads, I can get my name out there. So a big focus of this first semester, and one of the reasons why we didn't do really any sales and I was losing money every month, is because my big focus was winning a competition at ASU called Venture Devils. Okay. Because my thought process is, once I win this competition, I'll have money to throw into ads, and then I'll get my product's name out there, Canned Goods. At this point, I was selling 20 to 30 cans a month, if that, just to friends, family, pop-up events. I hadn't a big online presence. So I worked really hard, built out this really good presentation, planned my entire next year for what I'm going to do once I win this $10,000 or $20,000 from this competition, because I was sure I was going to win.
Totally.
I went there, did my presentation in front of a ton of people. I was like, I got this in the bag, baby. It's money time. And then they called out the winners, and I thought I misheard. I didn't know. My name wasn't on the winner's sheet. And this was in December, and my entire plans for how I was going to grow this company had fallen through. Wow. And I hadn't really done much work on the company besides trying to get funding for it the whole first semester, because I was just sure once I get this funding, it's a go from there. So I went into winter break very discouraged. I had this big grand vision. I thought everyone would see the vision of shirts in a can, But instead, I was just met with judges at a competition like that with, it's just shirts in a can. I don't see the appeal. And that's when my mindset shifted going into the second semester. I had very little sales, almost zero in sales, very little followers, and I did not have any money to help with marketing or anything. All my eggs were in that basket of winning that competition. And that's when I buckled down, Brent. Going into the second semester, and this is the reason behind my growth, I reframed myself and thought, why am I doing this? Why did I make this product? Why is it the way it is? And that's when I remembered it's all about virality. I just need a viral video and things will get going. So instead of just trying to make presentations to win a competition, I was improving my product, posting about it every day, and I sat down and posted 3 TikToks a day, which took a lot of time and effort. And I did this for like 2 months, not seeing much growth. It got to the point where I was very passive about it. I just make 3 TikToks a day and never check them to see what happened. And I think this goes to show is in March, I posted a TikTok, and at this point I was getting tired of posting TikToks about my story, about when I was in high school, why I was tired of everything packaged in plastic, where I thought about getting my idea from, how to get the cans, why I was doing it, the mission behind the brand, how I was thinking of every design. I posted a TikTok with my entire story culminated into one little TikTok in March. And the next day I'd woken up, and I don't check my TikTok, but I do get notifications from my website. And I'd gotten like $5,000 in sales overnight. And this is more money in sales than I've ever done, ever. So all of a sudden my revenue to date had doubled. And it just kept going throughout the day. And it was at that point where I realized, it's building a company and a business isn't a straight line. It's exponential. It's a lot of nothing, a lot of work, and then one day something will snap. And that's what happened in March.
Wow.
And since then, I've been following that same formula, and I went from barely doing anything to up to $150,000 each month in sales, and it's gone up and down around there since then. And I've just been thrown into this world of what it's like to own an e-commerce brand, how to manage it, how to work with suppliers and manufacturers. We've grown like crazy. Like I said, we donate to remove a pound of plastic for every can sold. So now we're the #1 contributor to ocean conservation charities in Arizona, wow, and #3 in the United States. That's essentially what it's looked like the past 5 months compared to the last 2 years when I started tinkering with the brand.
So I'm curious, the Devil's Invent competition sounded like it was a pivotal moment.
Yes.
You had a panel of experienced people.
Ugh.
Judge your idea.
Be careful, they're watching right
and
now.
say no.
Yeah.
Right? And so it would seem natural to just have said, okay, next idea. We'll put this one aside. You did not do that. Mm-hmm. I'm curious why. Mm-hmm. Why did you continue?
Maybe it's just because I'm stubborn. Maybe it's because I didn't want to go through the entire process of building a whole new company, because I've always wanted to build something. And it's also kind of humbled me to the fact where now whenever I look at somebody else's idea and think, oh, that's never going to work, that's such a dumb idea, I think, well, that's what people thought about my idea. Mm-hmm. I could be completely wrong. Another big reason is especially in the entrepreneurship world, the way someone values success is how many companies you've bought and sold. And so the people who've bought and sold, or not bought and sold, created and sold, founded and sold, and exited is what they call it. But what happens is people who have founded and exited companies, they're 50, 60, 70 years old. So the entire panel of judges seemed to be out of tune with the demographic I was reaching. The Gen Z audience, people in college who are on TikTok, love these fun, unique, sustainable ideas. And it's because of that I didn't think they saw a vision. Another big reason is if you have a startup these days, you either have to be in software, making a SaaS company, be on the blockchain, running crypto, all these types of buzzwords that a simple apparel brand or retail-based company is kind of scoffed at these days. And finally, I think a big part is, at the end of the day, there isn't some big invention I've created. I haven't patented anything. It really is just shirts in a can. which I think goes to show, especially for people who are trying to think about companies, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't really have to invent anything. You just have to find a problem and find solutions that have already been used in other industries, and try and hone it into fixing that problem. You don't have to be smart. I'm not super smart. I just know how to brand and be a visionary, and I think that's what the judges failed to see.
That's great. I'm so glad you found the success. Congratulations, by the way. The numbers you cited just over the last 5 months are incredible for a first-year Arizona State Sun Devil. I'm very proud to have you within our community and tell this story, because we do have a lot of really talented folks within our community of innovators, of entrepreneurs, and there is that moment where most people do get punched in the gut, and it's what happens after that experience that truly does matter. So your example of this is not a linear path. That you got to be committed to the vision that you have is super important. So if you don't mind, I'd love to hear, you have a clear understanding of what entrepreneurship is. You're living it. You're understanding that it's fun and exciting, but it's also a ton of work. Do you plan to persist with this for the coming? I mean, you're just getting going here at the university and within your career as an innovator. So where do you see yourself? We just talked about the first 5 months. What are the next 5 months? Forget the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself taking this, the company and your persona as an innovator?
Yeah. So a big part of figuring out where I go from here is recognizing what was successful about the last 5 months and what caused that success. So the next 5 months is going to be very similar to the previous 5 months. Posting on social media, trying to get the word out there, but also interacting with the community that I've now cultivated. We now have 200,000 followers on TikTok and 30,000 on Instagram. So going to events, holding pop-up events, getting to know people. On top of that, a big thing that came with our growth is other companies, schools, and sports teams, influencers have reached out to us and say, hey, I love this idea. I want my own customizable can with customizable merch. So over the past few months, I've actually built out a whole nother section of the company where we do custom fulfillment. We've worked with GCU. We are now licensed with ASU and should be in the ASU bookstores by the end of the year with custom ASU merch and apparel. I've worked with a few influencers who have a few million followers. We've built out an entire creator page on our website where creators, influencers, YouTubers can come to put their merchandise on our website in our own custom cans, choose one of three charities that we've partnered with, and all of their traffic will now come to our website where they can purchase their own canned goods, custom merchandise canned goods that we fulfill for them. So the next 5 months is going to be a lot of collaboration, working with other people. Now that we've gotten our name out there, it's how can we take our name that's somewhat recognizable and partner with people who are even more recognizable than us, grabbing onto coattails of more successful brands, companies, and people.
Love it.
And also utilizing ASU's resources, like I said, working with ASU to do custom ASU merch, using those resources to work with other Big Ten or Pac-12 schools around here, that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So you've described a few really wild years of your teenage life. If you were to go back before that period, how did you get to be this sort of opportunity-oriented person? I mean, you're describing years that are not typical for most teenagers. How did you get to be that kind of person? What were the motivations? Why do you see the world as opportunities and solutions to be put in motion?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm very opportunistic, but I'm not always super successful. I had like 9 or 10 different companies I started in high school, none of which had any dollar amount in sales or any growth in followers, anything like that. So I'd say I catch the right opportunities only because I'm chasing after a mass amount, and there's a very few amount that stick. But if you chase as many opportunities as possible, there's a greater chance you're going to latch onto a successful one, even if you're also latching on to many, many failures. I'd attribute my drive in high school with kind of also being motivated by some of these failures, and also being encouraged a bit by, or learning what I can from my parents, who are also great public speakers, great people, and using that to kind of drive me to work every day. I also get super hyper focused on stuff. So when I think of a problem or I think of a solution to a problem, I'll be working on it for the next 2 weeks every single day, which a lot of the times did not turn out successful. Like I said, I've had 9 different companies that I tried to start before this one. But I think that's what I attribute to my success. Just trying again and again and again, throwing the dart at a wall as many times as possible, because eventually one of them will stick. People are always posting their most unique finds or unique tips and tricks. And I think that's one of the reasons why I found at least some degree of success within high school is because I was learning every day after school just on YouTube stuff that my peers weren't, because they were just taking what they learned from class. They wouldn't go and watch YouTube. And I just watched a lot of YouTube.
It's great. Thanks for sharing that.
I am curious, to riff off the mission of the university is obviously one of learning, one of beneficial action as well. If you were to offer advice to your peers to have sort of similar successes, maybe some struggles along the way, but advice to peers, what would you offer them? What should they be doing?
Yeah. I mean, I'd take after the Nike slogan, just do it. Like I said, like in high school, I had all of these ideas, and I think most people, they think of an idea of like an invention or a solution or something they could build and grow, and they just think, wow, that's a cool idea. Maybe I'll do that in the future. Whereas I would think of an idea, and I would get on the computer, and I'd just start trying to do it, just doing it. And most of the time, it would not be successful, or I'd figure out halfway through why it won't end up working. But if you aren't acting on every single one of your ideas, you're not going to find the one that sticks. When I started Canned Goods, I mean, I also half expected it to fail like everything else I tried, but I just kept pushing and pushing because it just stuck a little bit more than all of my other ideas. On top of that, it would be getting your idea out there. Once you've decided to just do it, don't try and hide and keep it a secret because you worry it might not be successful or people will make fun of you or whatever. Take your idea and tell it to people, because that's when you're going to get feedback. That's when you're going to get people saying, oh, that is a good idea. Yes, I would pay this amount to use this software you're thinking of, or to pay for this product you're thinking of. Oh, this would be a great idea. What if you added this onto it? Or I don't like that idea. I would never pay this X amount to do it. And that's when you can understand, okay, there could be an audience for this. People like the idea. Or that's when you learn this is not going to stick. This is not going to work. Maybe I should move on to something else.
So I'm curious, you've mentioned TikTok a few times. Clearly that's the communication means, make something viral. But what is it that is resonating with the TikTok community, about canned goods? I mean, what is it that is sparking this explosive interest?
Yeah, so TikTok is dominated by Gen Z. And I like to think Gen Z is a generation that's come into this world filled with negative media everywhere they look, and including negative environmental media. So Gen Z wants solutions to this kind of stuff because it's all they've ever known growing up. And on top of that, TikTok has also created an atmosphere for all of its users of short, quick attention spans that need something new and unique in order to keep their attention spans. So the reason why Canned Goods is so successful is because A, it aligns with most of Gen Z's mission, which is let's find unique and fun solutions to the problems we're facing, such as plastic waste and specifically plastic packaging. But on top of that, it's a very simple product. You show a can, you pop it open, and there's a shirt in it. People don't expect that. It keeps people's attention spans over and over and over again, which is kind of one of the downfalls of my generation is our short attention spans. But Canned Goods is able to capitalize on that by showing stuff they would never expect over and over and over again and aligning a unique but also beneficial mission along with that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very satisfying to pop the top.
Yep.
On. Yeah, I cannot wait for my first canned goods shirt to come. I'm gonna pop. Yeah, I'm gonna film it too, and we'll see. If
Go
I can,
for it.
maybe
We'll get
I
you
can-
viral.
That's a tall order, but we'll give it a shot, Easton. This is fantastic. Did you have any other closing questions for our guest today, Kurt?
Well, I am really curious. So you've gotten to a point now where it's truly a team of people that is critical to your success. You've also talked about that sometimes that fulfillment process can be lumpy, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm just curious. Who are you recognizing as kind of the critical partner to make the machine of your business, work at the level it needs to work at?
Everyone.
Everyone.
I mean, a big part of building a successful company and startup is the team you surround yourself with. Much like a sports team, if you don't have elite people in every position, you're not gonna win. You're gonna lose every time. And beyond that, back to the sports team metaphor, you're not gonna bring someone on who's never played their position before. So that's one of the things I've learned over the summer when bringing people onto the team is find people with more experience than me, who probably know a little bit more than me, and using that as leverage to help educate myself as well. Another key figure that has come on to help me with some of these problems is a man named Paul Goodman, who just sold his company called Pura Vida, which was a jewelry company that he sold for a few $100 million. And he came across canned goods, and he's like, oh, I love the brand, I love your mission, and he's come on as an advisor to kind of help me out with some of my fulfillment challenges and issues. So every part of canned goods, whether it's the front end, how we advertise, who's making the products, who's making the designs, to the back end, how we're handling the financials, how we're handling this influx of orders, how we're deciding what new products we're going to release, is all headed by somebody who I think is very good at what they do. They have experience in what they do, and I think they're better than how I could do it in order to keep canned goods going and growing.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Shall we get some audience questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Very fortunate to be here in a beautiful studio at the ASU Polytechnic campus, and we have a great audience of people that are tuned in to entrepreneurial mindset and how that manifests with our student population, including Easton and others. So, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. If anybody has a question for Easton, we can pop that into the episode pretty easily, and I'm sure you're thinking of things that Kurt and we could go on for.
We could go on.
We've already been at this a while.
Yep.
So.
Just use that mic, and that's
Yeah.
I'll go first.
yeah, great.
One question I was thinking about while you were talking is how do you balance your personal life with your life as an entrepreneur, and in conjunction with that, burnout?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of gray area now between my personal life and my life as an entrepreneur. Finding ways, and this is also when balancing school life and business life, finding ways to combine them so that it's beneficial for all parties. So for example, with my friends, a lot of times it's, I can't hang out today, but you guys should come to my pop-up event tomorrow. We can all hang out, I'll buy you guys lunch, and we can have a good time. Or I'll take my friends out to Sedona. But once we get there, I'll have shirts in the back, and I'm like, all right, throw these on. We're gonna take pictures, and then we can go hang out. With school, it's finding classes that also benefit the business. So accounting classes, negotiation classes, and leveraging here ASU's resources. Finding events to go to talk to the people in charge of of merchandise, that kind of stuff. So I'd say the best way to balance is kind of mix it all, which doesn't work for everybody, but at least it works for me.
So you mentioned one influence was perhaps in changing the way you think about which classes you might take. Mm-hmm. Are there other ways that your experience as an entrepreneur are beginning to change how you see your college education?
Totally. I mean,
are you asking if he's going to drop out? Let's cut to the
I'll tell you what. I have to leverage the idea of, ultimately at the end of the day, is it in my best interest to drop out of school? And I have to leverage the reasons why wouldn't I? So of course the main reason why would I is I get too busy, I can't attend classes, or I don't want to be paying for this degree if I don't think I'm going to use it, that kind of situation. However, I look at the other side and I think, what am I gaining by being here? And I think beyond my classes, it's the resources in terms of the people I meet, the networking. To me, that's the most important part of university, is doing events like this, meeting new people, because these people always have connections that can help you grow your business as well as yourself. On the other side, it's balancing just being 19 years old. I want to live here in Tempe. I got friends here. I want to hang out with people. I want to relate to them. So currently, it is advantageous to stay in school because I have the resources the school offers. I have friends here in Tempe that I love to hang with, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Great question.
But will I graduate? That's a good question that I don't know the answer yet.
Hey, you come talk to me or Jason or Steve. We're going to find a way for you to graduate.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I'm a big fan of graduation too. I just thought maybe it was changing your motivations or your perspectives that you bring to the classroom. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Easton. I'm Jason Bronowitz. I'm one of the faculty in technological entrepreneurship and management. Thanks for sharing your story with us. I think it's awesome to see all the things that you're doing, and just hearing kind of what led you to this point was really nice. I'm curious what you're doing to look for your next exponential growth opportunity.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, what are you doing to prepare to scale so that you'll be ready once that happens?
So scale is such a fickle word, I'll tell you. I never really thought about scale when I started canned goods. My thought process is if people order more clothes, I just make more clothes and sell it to them. And that's where I realized how difficult scale is. Getting from $100,000 a month to $1 million a month means you need to 10x the amount of clothes you're producing, 10x the amount of staff you have, all this sort of stuff. But also just 10x the amount of orders you're getting. Maybe I've reached that market cap of the amount of people willing to spend money each month. So on the growth and orders side of scale, it's honing into the brand name canned goods, and kind of furthering myself a bit from the name canned goods clothing. So we want to offer more fun and unique products inside the can. In fact, one of the products we're releasing for winter, and specifically the holidays, is a company we partnered with in California who takes plastic bottles, grinds them up, turns them into yarn, and then those yarn into cute little stuffed animals. So we're offering cute stuffed animals inside collectible cans. The cans have like a "Hello, my name is" name tag on it, so you can name your stuffed animal. Super fun to pop open, make for great stocking stuffers. And then after the holidays, those roll over perfectly into Valentine's Day. So that's one of the examples of how we're diversifying our product range. Also on the other side is scaling up our outreach to influencers, schools, companies, people we want to partner with who want their own custom merchandise and packaging. That's the easy part. The hard part is figuring out how the heck I'm going to handle all this growth and orders on the back end. My manufacturer can only handle so many orders a month. So a big part of that is using my skills as a people person again, calling up manufacturers, telling them my story, figuring out if they can help me out, how many orders they can handle each month, and if they can do it at an affordable rate, figuring out each parts of my supply chain, and also bringing on people to the team who have been doing that for years and years and years, and know the pitfalls and mistakes that happen when scaling on both sides, and getting their advice.
Thank you so much. Now I know exactly what I'm going to get Kurt for.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
I want to pick up on something, Rakesh. Yeah, we'll get to you next if you don't mind. But Kurt, you mentioned in your introduction, one of the keys to our life as faculty and leaders is honing in on the authentic student experience, and
yeah.
I think that connected to your rocket launch moment that night in March, right, where you it sounded to me like, I haven't seen the video that went viral, but you kind of laid it all out there.
Yeah.
Like, it was like you're just spilling your guts about where you've been on this journey and things aren't going well, but clearly the audience, your audience on TikTok at the time and other people responded really well to that authentic story. So I'm curious, as it stands right now and based on your plans for the future, how much of you, Easton, are involved
Yeah.
in the brand and promoting these new products as they're developed and as they're launched?
And this is something I'm actually very well aware of, because ultimately, in the future, if I ever want to hand the reins off to someone else and exit and start something else, another idea I have, it hurts the company's value if I am the company, if I am the brand.
Right.
So I kind of don't want myself to be the face of canned goods. So that's why I've in a lot of my recent videos, I've been letting other people be in the videos instead of me, taking videos, talking about the brand. I've been doing a lot more community interactions. Instead of me talking about the brand, I'm interviewing someone who just bought a shirt, asking why they bought the shirt, what they think of it, and also trying to focus more on the idea of the product instead of the person selling the product. But at the same time, I recognize the leverage that I have, being someone so young with a compelling story that people can relate to, and using that in these early days to get orders, build a community, and create cash flow. But towards the end of my role in canned goods, I do not want to be associated as the brand face, because I don't want canned goods just to be Easton's brand. I want it to be the brand of the face of sustainability in the streetwear industry.
Love it. Smart. Rakesh?
Hi, I'm Rakesh Pangasa, and I'm an industrial engineer, and I've been teaching, training, and consulting on entrepreneurship and business innovation for almost 3 decades now. My question to you is as follows. I would like you to compare at least 2 of your ventures when you go from idea to prototype,
Okay.
pilot testing, and then a stage comes, yes, I'm ready to mass test it with canned goods, and you said that you had several of them that you left it at various stages.
Yeah.
So I would want a lot of other students to hear this story so that they can relate to it and they'll get motivated.
Yeah. So a lot of the companies that I tried working out with in high school were kind of typical. I was trying drop shipping. I was trying reselling sneakers, which I talked a bit about, helping my buddy build his own clothing brand. And the big problem that I ran in with a lot of those is scalability. I'll give another example of a company that I got a little further along with. It was a sticker company. I made stickers. I called it Snicks Stickers because
Rolls right off the tongue.
Snicks Stickers, yeah, it's got a good alliteration. I started just using a little, I think my mom's Cricut, which is a little cutter, in printing out stickers, cutting them out, and selling them to friends at school. And I would do that for a bit. But when I thought about how can I scale this company to beyond just selling to friends at school, I had to realize what's the special sauce in Snicks Stickers? What separates this from another company online who could do the exact same thing? And at the end of the day, even if I had cool designs or something like that, I didn't have anything unique or different about Snicks Stickers. It was just a sticker at the end of the day. There's hundreds of sticker companies, and there was no uniqueness behind it. And that's why it couldn't scale. That's why nobody would care about it if I was posting on TikTok. And also it didn't have a mission that was greater than the brand. It didn't have something people could align with. It was literally just a product. So I eventually abandoned it. And I'll contrast that with why canned goods became so successful. Because the product itself was different and unique. Yes, it was just shirts. There's hundreds of shirts companies. Shirts at this point are a commodity. You could put any design on a shirt and sell it. But it was unique and different. There's no other company doing shirts in a can. And I recognized that when I was selling my MVP, my original product. People would see it and they'd go, oh, there's shirts in a can. There's this light bulb moment for them. That's what makes it different. And then the second part, when I explained why it was in a can, I'm trying to find an alternative to plastic packaging. We donate to remove a pound of plastic for everything sold. We're trying to find proof that packaging is more than something that should be reused. That's when people would really be drawn in, because there was a brand, or there was a mission that was bigger than the brand itself. And that was super important with building a community, which is something I couldn't have done with any of my other companies. There was no uniqueness, and there wasn't a larger mission that people could align with.
Easton, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here on the show. This is How We Innovate at ASU. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing your story. And Kurt, want to thank you for joining us here on today's episode. It's an honor to have you, and thanks for being a part of it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys so much. This was awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks everyone for joining in. We'll see you next time on How We Innovate here at Arizona State University, powered by the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering. And we'll see you at graduation, Easton.
Oh, thank you guys.